everyone, it's Sally with the Polka Dot Life. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. It has been a little while and I've missed you. I am happy to be back crafting and spending some time with you. And what better motivation to get back in the craft room than new products? And we have our new spring mini catalog that has launched at the beginning of January, and it's also celebration time, which means if you spend $50 in products before shipping and tax, then you earn free product from the celebration catalog. And so it's a really win-win situation. Stampin' Up! Used to have celebration 2 times per year, but they've gone back to just 1. And so the celebration period runs from January, I think it's the 4th or the 5th, it was that the catalog launched, until the end of February while supplies last. And we will be looking a little more intently at some of those celebration products as time moves forward here. But today we are going to be working with the Ice Cream Swirl Bundle, and it's from this new mini catalog, and it just made me think of warmer days ahead. It is a cold day here in Alabama, and I would say that chances are, if you are in the United States, there's probably a 90% chance that you are cold today too. So I am thinking of warmer days ahead and sunshine, maybe a beach trip, whatever, but just that ice cream swirl just made me think of all of those warm weather things. So let's flip the camera down and get started on today's project. As I mentioned before, the mini catalog has launched. It is the January through April mini catalog, and so it is good from January 4 through April the 30th. And we're going to be working with this bundle today, the Ice Cream Swirl Bundle. And so even just when you open it up, there are some pictures of it sprinkled throughout with some ideas. So make sure you look the whole way through, just even in amongst all these other things, and make sure you just take the inspiration in, whether it's what you copy it exactly or you just use it for inspiration and move on. I wanted to show you here in the table of contents, it shows you the sweets, and then it shows you some icons. So if you're looking like for quick and easy projects, you know, the little clock will be there, distinctive stamps. If it's one that you reverse, that you flip, it will have this symbol. These products fit in the mini cut and emboss machine. Bundles, if you buy the bundle, you save 10%. And if there are any $1 million sets in here, they will be designated with this. So when you are a demonstrator and you sell $1 million set, when you sell $1 million in products, then you get to design a stamp set. So if there are any in there, it will tell you who was the person that designed that set. So today we are going to page 37, and I'm just going to slide this over a little bit. And so it tells us that these pieces fit in the mini cut and emboss machine, which is really nice. And then there are several little examples here, and this shows you what is in the set. And I am going to show you versus the stamp case because it glares on my screen when I do that. But there's like a little cookie. There is the ice cream portion itself to stamp. There's a strawberry, a cherry. This could either be considered a straw, or I think they're called pirouettes, the little candy, or not a candy, a cookie. They're like Pepperidge Farms. They look like a straw. They're round. So that could be either one of those. Sprinkle stamp, and then several little greetings or sayings. And I have the die set here, and it is a fun set. There are only 10 dies in it, which I shouldn't say only, that's quite a few. But some lately we've having these massive sets that have like 20 in there, and they're kind of hard to keep track of, honestly. So this is a little wrapper for on your cone if you would like, and then you can cut out the cookie or cookies or straw, strawberry, cherry, the sprinkles, and then there is an outline die for the ice cream, and then there's this inside one that cuts out. You can put it on top of and make it look swirled. You can save these pieces that cut out and put like swap colors and put those in. A lot of fun things. There's this insert here to put inside if you don't want to stamp, and it just makes an embossed mark. And I'll show you examples of all these things. Stay tuned to the end, and we have several examples. Another product that we are using today that's new is the Lighter Than Air DSP. And you are going to think I'm crazy when I show you the ink colors that we are using today, but it all works out, I promise. But these are just lovely pastel colors, and this suite for this is really nice too. And then the back side has several great just normal prints that we would use for backgrounds and all kind of things. So that is really, really nice. I apologize if this glares, but the Lighter Than Air, I love how it always tells us what colors are in a designer series pack back here. I always keep mine. I keep mine in these Stampin' storage sleeves. They fit in my wall unit. And I just keep this down in here so that I can always reference it. It's Azure Afternoon, Balmy Blue, Bubble Bath, Flirty Flamingo, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lolly, Petal Pink, and Pool Party. I also want to take a minute and tell you about Celebration. It is the most wonderful time of the Stampin' Up! Year where we get free goodies just for shopping and supporting our crafting habits. It is in force from January 4 through the end of February. So what it is when you spend $50 before tax and shipping on product, you earn gifts. So the gifts are at the $50 level, and then they are increments of 50. So if you spend $100, you can either get two $50 gifts or one $100 gifts. We have gifts at both of those levels. So the best way, of course, is shopping. You can host, which that's just a scary, people think, oh, we have to have people over. No, that's just, you can place your own order of $150 or more, and that qualifies you as a host. You can get, there are host exclusive sets that you can get, and then you earn Stampin' rewards also. Of course, the best way right now is to join, and you could join my team. I would love to have you. And right here, it tells us to go to page 16 and 17. So let's just go there real quickly. So here you are on page 16 and 17. We won't spend a lot of time here, but I just wanted to go over it really quickly. And so when you join during Celebration, you can build your starter kit. We don't choose your items. You get to pick those. And you choose $125 worth of products for just $99. So that is always a great deal, and there is no shipping on your starter kit. So that's a great plus too. And then you get to choose. You either get the free glass mat, which is valued at $60, and it is really nice. I've watched other demonstrators. I was not able to get in on that. I didn't get my order in on time. But you can also choose additional $30 in free products if you would rather have that. I will tell you, this is something, I don't know how long they're going to offer it. We're hearing rumors that this will be a product for sale later, but there is no guarantee. Those are just rumors. So if this is something you are interested in, I think I would choose this option. But going back here to the front of the catalog, you can just quickly see there are stamp sets, there's designer series papers, and like I said, some are at the $50 level and some are at the $100. There's ribbon, which I don't think we've ever had that before. There are embellishments. I'm not sure that we've had that before. Just more paper. We have paper that coordinates with product that's in the mini catalog. And if a product coordinates, it will tell you here. And that's really nice that both of those products do. Here we have some little Jungle Friend or Jungle Pals, sorry. We have, this one is a bundle where you get a stamp set and an embossing folder. Now that's one at the $100 price point, but you do get two items there. And this coordinates with our Petal Park Builder Punch. So lots of options there. You can always go to the polkadotlife.com and you can click on catalogs and it'll take you to a digital version. If you are interested in a paper catalog, just send me an email at sally@thepolkadotlife.com with your name and address and what you would like, and I will send it to you as far as whatever the current catalogs are. You are going to think I'm crazy with the colors that I have out here. After you saw that nice pack of very pastel colored designer series paper. We have Parakeet Party, Tahitian Tide, Melon Mambo, Orchid Oasis, and Lemon Lolly. And I have a blending brush for each color family, so I have those out now. What I thought of when I first saw this set was when my children were younger, particularly my son, but my daughter also liked it, was this ice cream called Superman ice cream. And I decided that was kind of what I wanted to use to make my ice cream. Now, there are no designer series papers that kind of fit that bill with these colors. I just thought, at first I thought, I wanted something bright. And if you look at what I do, you'll think that it's insanely bright. But then as the ink dries, it lightens a little bit. And when you put it with other things, it kind of influences the hue of those colors also. So I am going to make my own designer series paper. You do not need to do this. You can just simply use what colored cardstock or regular ink that you want to make a card with this. And I will show you an example of just a regular colored piece of ice cream as we go on here with our examples. So I'm going to also show you a little hack. I'm going to start with some green, this Parakeet Party, and I'll start off a little bit. It really doesn't too much matter because I am going to make this pretty dark. And you'll see why I'm kind of doing this here in the corner. I'm kind of, like I say, I'm making my own designer series paper. And when we go to cut the cherries and the strawberries, I wanted them to be able to kind of match what we do with the ice cream. And since these are done with blending brushes, I just decided to just do it that way also for those little embellishments. So you can go over this as much or as little as you like. I did mine pretty heavy. I'm going to come in then with the Melon Mambo, and I'll swirl it just till I get this all, happy and woke up kind of thing. These, it doesn't really matter so much if you have a little blending spot because you're going to stamp, and some of the images are small, so it would just look like there was more ink there. And we're only making one card today, so I don't have to fill in this paper. But I probably will go back and do it later so that I can use it. But for some more cards, I'm going to go through the trouble of making my own paper, then I'll use it. I'll just go ahead and finish it out. But right now, I'm just using this row right here, and I'm going to let that for my strawberries and my cherries. So I'm going to kind of slide this up, and let's bring in some Orchid Oasis. That Superman ice cream, I remember being very blue, pink, yellow, purple. It was just one of those things you really didn't want it to get on their clothes. You didn't want it to drop in your car. If you had stopped for ice cream and were on your way to somewhere else, you definitely did not want that to drip in your car. It was a heavy-duty colored flavor ice cream. I've been craving ice cream, and I hadn't had any for about a year, and so I did have ice cream last night. It was the 1 year anniversary of me having a gastric sleeve surgery, and so I celebrated my day by a treat that I was craving. I only bought a very small container. I ate it. I enjoyed it. It was guilt-free. And then we've moved on. I'm not having that today. So, it's just sometimes you have to enjoy the things in life in moderation. Now, of course, yellow is one of those that takes a long time to kind of build up some color, but I did like this lemon lolly versus the daffodil delight for this. I don't know why. I've just had a lemon lolly love affair here lately, but we'll go there. Let's bring in some of that blue. And that one I probably should have started off, and I was talking and did not. But like I say, it all blends. We're blending things. I'm bringing that right down over top of those other two colors. This is a great way to get some aggression out if you've had a rough day and you just want to do something mindless and not really pay attention to it, but kind of just need a little physical workout to get your aggression out. This is a great therapy for that. And then, of course, we're going to bring in our Melon Mambo. And that seemed to be just the way it worked out on my samples. A lot of my ice creams were mainly pink. Of course, I think some of the people I'm going to gift these to give out, they get invited to a lot of birthday parties. They have girls, so that was probably in my mind. I was just thinking that would be a good thing for them. So we're going to bring the green in as well. In this Parakeet Party, the Orchid Oasis, the Tahitian Tide, these in colors. I had a panic moment. I was like, oh my gosh, they are going to be leaving before we even know it. And I thought, I have got to use them. I haven't used them for a while. Of course, I think we've all been stuck in Christmas mode, so there's that too. But we can just keep going and going, until, and see, that doesn't even matter because it's all going to blend right in. I am going to go ahead and put some Orchid Oasis down up here, which again, I shouldn't have done that. That one really does show. We'll probably steer clear of that area, which is about right where I wanted it, but we'll just see how it goes. I just want to make sure I maybe have some of this Orchid Oasis in my card, because we are going to be using some some bubble bath cardstock. And that really looks nice with that. So we'll try to just build this a little, have a little darker area and soften that boo-boo right there. And it may just make it worse. My surface underneath here, you can see the texture from it coming through. So it might not work on this surface that I have. Had I had that glass mat here, that wouldn't be an issue. I think we'll just go ahead and do all of our stamping, and then I will just run everything to the die cutting machine at once. I'm not going to make you watch that because that would take a very long time. And with my blending brushes, I don't wash them. You can. I just take mine and blend a little bit, blend it off, and then I just keep them in a mason jar. And I think I need a bigger jar. But let's, like I say, let's go ahead and close this ink so we don't have any catastrophes. I have 3 cats. One was feral, and I watched her get hit by a car about 4 times, and we decided that was enough. She wasn't chipped. We checked. We tried to find an owner. There wasn't any owner, so we took her in several years ago. And she doesn't really interact too much with the others, but we lost a cat this year, our boy cat, and our other cat, she was so lonely. So part of the reason, too, I wasn't around is life was just crazy here. I had knee replacement surgery in November, in amongst all the holiday things, and I decided it would be a great idea to adopt a new kitten the week before. Got it vetted and chipped and all the things, but you know, if you're a crazy cat lady like me, you get it. I am going to put my Stampin' Pierce mat down. It does need it. It gets a much better image on these if you do. And I'm using soft suede to come in, and I am going to stamp, and we can just look around and see where we want to place this. And like I said, I know I want some purple and some pink because we are using that bubble bath cardstock. But I'm just putting it on there where I want. And I will just use the scraps as I go along if I need a little piece for something here and there. But that makes your design for your swirl. Like I say, there are so many possibilities. You can leave it like this, which is what we are going to, well, we'll cut it out, but we're going to leave it like this for today. But you can just do so many different things, and you know, single layer, double layer. We'll show you that all here in a little bit. But anyway, we had the cat, and then my knee surgery, and then my daughter and son-in-law and grandson came for Thanksgiving, PT twice a week, all the fun things. I also have a piece of crumb cake. I just decided that was probably my favorite color for the cone, but there are other colors that you could use as well, or you could blending brush, you know, make your own. And I am just going to come in and stamp this right here. I could have even moved it up a little bit further, but I am just letting this transfer really good. I want that pattern to be nice and crisp. And I found that I liked the crumb cake cardstock with the, sorry, it's not soft suede. That's in my mind. Pecan pie. That's what color I have. I don't know. They're so similar. That's what it makes me think of. But I have that for doing some other stamping. Now I am going to take a minute and show you this die. It is like a double cone. So you can either use it, it will cut out this as one single image with a line between it. You can use it as a card to fold, or you can just cut it in half at this line and have 2 cones, or you can just use one and just move this up, and then it won't cut another one. It'll just be single like that. So I have that. I want to show you, this is one that I'm not using. It was just kind of one I was playing with, but I used Early Espresso and I didn't like it. It was just too dark, and so I just didn't really love it. I went ahead and played with this, and I'll use it on a card eventually here, but you can kind of see what that swirl looks like. And I think I also tried crumb cake, and it just wasn't as dark as I would like. So definitely the pecan pie was the winner, was my choice. We'll bring this back in since I forgot to stamp the cherry. I have stamps everywhere. So we'll open up that pecan pie again. And this would be the same thing that you would do if you were wanting the strawberry. Just bring it over here. And I wanted my stem to be green and my cherry to be more of the pink or the red. So I just stamped it like that on that kind of blended part, and then I'll cut it out. And if it's not dark enough, just let this dry, let your first ink dry, and just take that blending brush back over it if you would like to darken it some. And off camera, I might darken it, I'm not sure. I apologize, I didn't do this with this paper, but I got out of control here a little bit and wanted to show you the two main components. So then another thing that we have is this straw cookie kind of thing, and we'll let a little room. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to stamp this twice. For some reason, this has been a challenge for me to cut out straight with the die, so I'm just going to do two while I have this out here. And then I have this scrap of white, and we're going to do our greeting. And it is the greeting, I hope your day is sweet. And I am just going to stamp it right there. And I have one of the, I believe these are from the Stylish Shapes, I think is what this is from. I'm not sure without looking. One of the banners. But it's bigger than what I would like it to be. So if you haven't ever done partial die cutting, I'm just going to line this up, and I will tape it with this Post-it note tape. And I will run it through, and I will do it like this. And then when I take it off, I'm going to slide this over, and it uses these dots, it has like a little stitch mark in there. And so I will line that up. You can kind of feel it. It'll lock into place. And I'll just have moved this over, and I'll align that. And then I will only like die cut down to here so that it doesn't double do over this, but it'll just cut this banner end on this end of my greeting, because it's too long otherwise. It will just hang off of my card. I have this scrap of Lemon Lolly, and I have my Stamparatus. So if you have a Stamparatus or a stamp position tool, a Misty or something, you can use that. You do not have to. This is just my preference. I just found it worked better. I have this Make a Wish. And I'm going to just give myself more room and put it this way. It doesn't matter if it's real straight or not, because we're going to die cut it, so we can adjust that. But if I'm doing a greeting like this with that thick font, I like it to be darker. And I think my ink pad is kind of juicy. And so it just kind of had a little bit of a spotty look to it. And I found it just did so much better if I did it on here. And now we're down here by that hinge, so that's probably not great. So let's move that one. And I do have my padded grid down in there. But see that it still is just a little bit, I don't know, splotchy if you want to call it. You can fix it if you do it by hand. You can always take your Stampin' Right marker and just dab if you have a bare spot. Just barely dab it and you can't tell. I'm not even going to ink that up, but I'm going to give that W a good push. And that's just all that it needed. So we have this one then to go. And I will clean this up at the sink in a bit. So I will clean up and run my pieces through the die cut machine, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back from the die cutting machine. I have my pieces cut out, and so we are going to take a piece of bubble bath cardstock, and so we are going to score it a little bit differently. So we are just going to put the long side against the trimmer edge. And I'm trying to keep this so it doesn't get a glare, but I don't know if I can do that or not. So we're going to score it at 1.5, and we're going to put this cutting blade out of the way. So we are at 1.5 and 2.5. Then we're just going to flip this right around and do the same on the other side. This is a really quick and simple fun fold card, but I like it. Like ones that stand up. So that's what we're doing today. So here you have these score lines with this equal, like 1 inch section, and then this 1.5 inches at the end. So we're just going to grab a bone folder, and we want that middle section to be here, and we're going to pull this one back. So this is a mountain and then a valley, and then I'm going to score that on the back side. And if you have dark colored cardstock, if you see that it gets a glossy mark from your bone folder, then just put a piece of like typing paper over it, copier paper, and do your scoring, and then that will keep your cardstock from getting that little plasticky mark on it. So this is super, super easy. It just sits up like that. And then now all we get to do is the fun part of decorating. And so we have 3 pieces, and you just want to make sure, like if you're using a stripe, you know, this, I did it continuous, and you just want to make sure that they're going the right way, that you don't get a print, a directional print. This one still would be okay, but you don't want to turn it and then have it be really looking funky. So let's just grab some green glue or multi-purpose glue, and you know what? I am going to put that down for a quick minute. I'm going to do the middle first. I think the middle makes it easier. If I work quickly, I shouldn't get any lines, but I just think it's easier if you put the middle down first, and then you can make, you know, choose whether you're going to line it up at the top or at the bottom. So here we go. And I'm just gonna try to line it up more with the bottom. So you can see, I mean, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just an easier little trick to get that to line up, because you wouldn't want it to be way off. It would look kind of weird. I'm trying to get better at using less glue. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then you're just going to center that in that outer one. And you can just kind of fold that over and see that that is about the same. Super simple. I'm sure there's a name for this fold. I don't know whether it's really like a box card, what it's considered. But like I say, the fun now is in decorating our cards. So I'm going to set this back here for a minute. And I'm just going to bring this smaller grid paper in just to protect my surface and kind of help me visually keep my card where I need it to be so y'all can see it well. But the camera doesn't really like white. So I thought, well, we'll just switch to a smaller piece. Now you can kind of see here, my card was a little bit over when I put that on here. But this is that score line right in the middle. So if you had 2, you can fold it and make it be a folding card. So this is the score line. This is the top of your card line. But I am just gonna, I guess this is the score line. So I'm just coming right here and I'm cutting this score line, because you don't want that extra showing off the side of your ice cream swirl. And like I say, we could have added the second layer, we could have done all kind of things, but I'm kind of keeping it a little bit more on the simple side for this one today. But I have other examples to show you where I use the other pieces. And you have to be a little bit careful. Make sure this fits, and we're going to have to leave room for a cherry. So you kind of just want to put that on here and just take note of kind of where you want it to be. Now I'll straighten it up, but just kind of gives me a little visual. And see, you just don't want that piece sticking out the side. So you just kind of be mindful of that. You can always trim it off, but that way it just keeps it nice, and you make sure that you don't put it way up here, because see, that's a little bit of a difference. If you put that way at the top, it's not going to fit on your card. So that's what I kind of wanted to get at there. Let's pull out some other items I have over here to use. We have some white twine. We're going to do this before we put it on our card. And we're going to probably waste off some twine, but I keep my scraps if they're big. And I just can't work with one that's not long enough. It just doesn't work well for me. So I'd rather have a little bit extra. And actually what I'm going to do today is I'm going to tie a knot. And that'll keep this in place. Before I tie a bow. Gonna bring this pierce mat back in real quickly. And I have our sentiment. And I'm going to hang it off of our cone. So I'm going to bring it over here to the side. And just in the center here, you could use a hole punch, whatever you have. And I'm just going to take that little take your pick tool, and I'm just going to push that down in there. And I'm just going to use my fingernail to smooth it around. You can use this take your pick tool to kind of bend it around to where you want. And I'm just going to make it flat so it stays out of the way. Just to kind of neaten it up a little bit. You wouldn't have to do that, but I just find that I like it better that way. And you may have to put your take your pick tool in on this, go in the back way. I apologize, I have old lady eyes, so I kind of just have to be able to see what I'm doing. And you know what, let's do it from this side. I think it'll work better. There we go. You just do what you have to do to get that on there. And if it looks a little bit messy, it's fine. It's going to get covered up with your bow a little bit. It's not, people just aren't going to be staring at that. So it does have a bigger knot on it. And you wouldn't have to tie a bow if you didn't want to. Some people just don't like bows. Especially if maybe you were making this for a boy or man. Maybe you don't want to have a bow. You just do what makes you happy. And I'm just going to have this hang this way. And I will just adjust these loops here in a bit. Now I have some dimensionals. And I know that I'm going to want one up at the top. I don't want that getting bent down. And you can even put some right here to reinforce that if you want. No, I'm going to want some at the bottom. And then you just kind of fill in. So I might take one and put here just to hold that in place a little bit better. Put one here. Don't skimp on your dimensionals. They're so inexpensive. You just don't want your hard work to just be ruined by going through the machines at the post office. So make sure you use enough of them. And I'll just have these all in one place to put in my trash can. And actually, I think we can move that now. I think the messies are over. So we're just going to look at this. Now, you want to make sure those ties haven't slipped back there like mine did. And then you just kind of want to center this on your card. Wherever you think it looks good, nothing has to be super precise. So it's great. And see that ink, those wild colors of ink have settled down, and they actually look nice with this. When I pulled out these other colors, I was like, I don't love them. And then I pulled this pack out and I'm like, okay, here we go. That's the winner. Okay, we have a few more pieces. I have my little wrapper. So, and that was just from a scrap that I had. You wouldn't have to match my patterns. You can use this with any paper, any whatever. But you know, when you're dealing with the pack, it's so nice that everything is so color coordinated. It's perfect. And then this you just kind of slip on where you want to. I should have put it on before I put that on. That would have made more sense. Yeah, you just kind of eyeball it. And you tell I'm out of practice of doing this because, like I say, it's just been a hot minute with my husband working out of the country. We've been gone. And so it's been a little bit since I've been here to visit with you and getting just back in the swing of things. But nothing will motivate me like a new catalog full of goodies. So there we have that. On my way back from the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I took my Pecan Pie Stampin' Blends and I just filled it in those stripes. And I had to cut mine a little bit shorter because I had put my cherry at the top and I wanted it down here, but that'll work too. You will see in my other photographs, probably the one that I'll use on my blog, because since I already took those pictures of my other cards that I did first for an example, I'll put a little dab of glue on the back so that that doesn't get caught in something just when somebody's opening the envelope. We don't want that to come off. And if I glue it down to the back, with this being raised up, it gives it a little bit further dimension. I know it looks like I've got a wad of glue there, but it is white dot. So now we can fix our bow the way we want it. Make it a little bit smaller. You know, twine kind of has its own thing that it does when it wants to do it. So I'm just going to let it. And then I have some of these. They are the rainbow adhesive back dots. They're also from that Lighter Than Air suite. And I'm just going to put some, just a few. And I use the Lemon Lolly. Let's kind of put, and that also kind of keeps that from getting real far down in here. It may or may not. It might hold it in place a little bit. And we can just put these wherever we want. I'm just going to kind of put them on top of those diamonds. Just use that pattern to help me keep things straight. And I think that's really fun. Now, you might notice that there isn't a place to write when you put the card like this. So we're just going to flip it over and put a piece on the back. And I have a piece that's the same size as that big piece of DSP on the front. And then I have our greeting, and these were from the nested. The banner was from the stylish shapes, and these are from the nested shapes. And you just kind of want to, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here. And then I'll just kind of put it in the middle of this. You know, I could also just bring in my grid paper and do it the right way instead of doing it the lazy way. So let's line this up. Let's go ahead and put some glue. Let's just take that off. Put some glue on our strip, and it's just any size, any pattern that you have. I wouldn't cut something special to a specific shape for this. Let's just get that on there, and then we'll just put glue on the back. And it doesn't even have to be perfectly centered, because I probably should have put that stripe a little bit lower, but it's fine. So we can see when we line this up, if we have like a little half square on the ends of these, that then this center is where the center is. So, you know, use your grid paper. It's a great tool. It's an inexpensive tool. And now I'll just put a little glue. And then you just center this in that panel just like you did in the front. And that's just a really fun card. Make a wish. Super fun. So now we have the front. And if this bothers you swinging down here, here's how you fix that. You just take a glue dot and put it on here. And the good thing is with this fold, you can close it so you know how it's going to go in your envelope. And you can make this, you know, you can just kind of place this to where you know it's not going to get hung up in your envelope. And you're just fix your strings and so on accordingly the way that you want. If they're misbehaving, stick a glue dot on them too. But I just think that's super fun. And it's just a super, super sweet color scheme. Like I say, the ink colors didn't end up being as scary as we thought. This definitely softens it, and so I like that a lot. This is my first one. This is the one I'll probably use for my pictures. I like this better. I got to looking at another card and did this differently on the one we did together today. I like this one better. But I just thought I would show you, and I used the same colors on that. I liked it, so I just used the same thing. Here's an example of me using this die cut piece. And so I used the outline to cut just a Whisper white piece. And then I used this on the Early Espresso, and I just went ahead and glued that down. Now, this is just the top of a cone. Remember I told you I did this one and I didn't love it in the Early Espresso, but I didn't want to waste it. And so this is just the half of that, and I even flipped that over and just reused that one too. But you can see I just didn't love the dark on either piece of that, but I didn't want to waste it, so I just used that for a little sundae bowl. So and this one I just stamped on Whisper White, and then I used my Real Red Stampin' Blend marker on this. But then for this, it's so thin and we don't have Early Espresso in the blends, I just used my Stampin' Right marker. It was just a few little strokes, so you're not going to see any streak marks. And these are from the bee set, the Valentine, the bee set. I love these. These just look so happy with it. And these I just embossed. This is from that new lavender set. This is purple floral on the other side. You would never know. So just don't limit yourself to what you can use. And then these are also from that nested shapes, nested essentials, whichever that is, dies there. And I added a little border on this one with the Early Espresso. I just thought that it needed a little bit of something. And I tried to decorate my envelopes as well. Now this card is just a little bit different. This one I just used the banner and made just a quick one. And this Hi Sweet Friend is from this By My Side stamp set. That's what that one is from. And I used a strawberry on that one. And this just, I didn't stamp it. I used that embossing little piece that goes in. And I left this as that big long one, folded in half. Now, if you're going to do this, this either needs to be a tag that hangs off of a gift, or it can be a little standalone card. But you can't put this on a base because you can't open it. So that is that. And so it does fit in a regular envelope. You just check and make sure you're gluing this on top of here to where it's going to fit in here. And I still had some wiggle room, so that was good. And then I just decorated the envelope, but I thought it was really, really fun. And I just used one of those dots right there. Here's this card. I used a lot of Lemon Lolly this week. And I used different colored dots on that one. I used some of this in color twine on this since it had a lot of that Tahitian tide in it. And I cut out the word yum and used a little smaller piece inside and just use up the scraps that you have. They're great things for that. Now this one I took to that little brighter place and it still works. It shows what you put it with. It kind of takes on that hue or that color. So I used the Orchid Oasis. I cut out a piece and did the edge with the Gorgeously Made die. I lifted these up and slipped that little cookie down in there. And I used some of the Orchid Oasis ribbon. And this I used for the twine. I used a piece of the Orchid Oasis and the Parakeet Party. And I'm not sure if this is Parakeet Party or if this is Lemon Lime Twist that I used here actually. And I just used my stamp and stamped some over here and here as well. And I just used my cardstock to bring a little bit of color to the inside. And then this last card, I also made it into a sundae. It's a little fun fold. And I used that double layer on this. And it works to even do just the same color, but layer it because you're getting different colors through there. And you either need like a fine tip glue bottle, or you can flip this over and put some glue out onto your silicone mat and sponge it on the back, or you could use an adhesive sheet, but there's some pretty thin places here. And it just says make a wish, enjoy your day. And that enjoy your day is from a celebration item. It is from the Heartfelt Hellos. And I'm sorry, I'm sure that's glaring. And it has some really nice greeting. They're a larger and nice size. And so this could be a really nice choice for you. It matches back to the Heartfelt Hexagon punch. So I really like that one. And I had some leftover cutouts, so I just put those on the inside. So just like that, we have 6 different ideas for using the Ice Cream Swirl Bundle. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope it makes you think of nice, warm, sunny days ahead. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.